Hey family, it's Pastor Carrie, and on behalf of our senior pastor, Dr. Jamal H. Bryant, I want to welcome you to Trillionaire Thursday. Listen, you are in for an incredible treat tonight. Listen, every Thursday has been good, but I might be a little biased tonight. I'm extra excited about what God has prepared for you. Listen, as a budding entrepreneur, I have been soaking up so much energy, so much information from every Thursday, because there are so many incredible nuggets that you can get from each week. But can I tell you that we got a special guest tonight, and we have an audience full of entrepreneurs. I don't hear y'all tonight. Oh, come on and make some noise. We have an audience full of entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs tonight, who are here supporting none other than Dr. Velma Trayham. Come on, y'all. Yes, of the Millionaire Mastermind Academy. Can I tell you, not only is she beautiful, not only is she bad, come on, y'all, but she is brilliant. And what she is going to impart in you tonight, you don't want to miss it. So if you've not shared this, I want you to do that right now. If you've not liked this, I want you to do that. And we want you to comment, because we want you to be engaged tonight. Come in closer, a little bit closer as I talk to you. I want you to pull out your iPad, your laptop, your notebook. If you still like me and take notes, handwritten notes with your pen or your pencil, I want you to do that tonight, because you will not be able to capture everything without writing it down. Can I tell you, there is a word from the Lord. There is something that the Holy Spirit is going to impart in you that is going to light a fire in you. Come on, y'all, tonight. That is going to cause you to take your life and your business to the next level. If you are ready to go to the next level, I just want you to write in the chat, Pastor, I'm going to the next level. Listen, the next voice that you will hear tonight, come on, studio audience, is none other than Dr. Velma Trayham.
Well, thank you, Pastor Carrie. Okay, why don't we just give a round of applause for Pastor Carrie? That was amazing. An entrepreneur at core, Black women. I want to thank, first of all, Pastor Jamal Bryant. Pastor Jamal Bryant. I want to thank you so much for all of your contribution to the communities across the world. I want to thank you for your contribution to Millionaire Mastermind Academy. The Millionaire Mastermind Academy, we could not do what we do if it was not for people like yourself pouring into minority women. So thank you, New Birth Church. Thank you, Pastor Jamal Bryant. Thank you all for your support, your friendship, and everything. I'm super excited to be here with you all today. I hope that you have your pen, and I hope that you have some paper, because today you're not going to just get information, but you're going to get impartation for transformation. I said not just information, but you're going to get impartation for transformation. I want you to repeat after me. I will never be poor again. Because today I will learn the principles of business. Today is the last day that you're going to be stuck. Today is the last day. I want you to just begin to decree and declare today being the last day of you being stuck. I want to talk a little bit about poverty, and then I want to talk a little bit about what we need to do to get out of poverty. I want to talk a little bit about my background, but this is not about me. It's about what God is doing and how God is moving, and how each and every one of you are trailblazers and innovators to do what God has called you to do. Each and every one of you have what it is on the inside of you that God has called you to do. Each and every one of you. So again, remember this: poverty is a state of mind. Poverty has absolutely nothing to do with how much money you have. Poverty is a lack of creativity and a lack of execution. A lack of creativity and a lack of execution. I am a Houston native. I was born and raised in extreme poverty in Houston, Texas. My mother was a drug addict, and in fact, my entire family was alcoholics, and it wasn't a favorable situation. But how many of you know that it's not how you start, but it is how you finish, okay? It is not how you start, it is how you finish. And as a kid, I knew that I wanted something different. As a kid, I knew that I was going to have to take action if I did not want my life to look like the way my family lives were. And I thank God today that my mom has been clean and sober for 19 years. So I'm grateful for that. But it is a reminder that where you come from does not have to be your end. In fact, if you take action today, if you apply what you're going to learn today, you will be greater than you have even ever imagined that you can ever even be, okay? The problem is most of us don't know what we don't know, and when you don't know what you don't know, you just don't know what you don't know. But today, you can no longer use that as an excuse either. You can no longer use that as an excuse either. So I'm going to go back a little bit to talk about my background. In Houston, I'm from Houston, this little dark-skinned girl born in poverty, Third Ward, Houston, Texas. I am the first generation entrepreneur. I am the first generation college degree. I am the first generation millionaire. I am the first generation. And I'm not saying that to boast. I'm telling you that because if God did it for me, then he can do it for you too. Okay, why don't you just begin to say, God, I am ready for what is for me, okay? Why don't you just begin to say, I am ready for what's for me. I am ready for what's for me, okay? But let me tell you this, faith is the substance of the things that you hope for, but it's the evidence of the things that you don't see. So if you do not take action, okay, action, that's the word today, it's action. If you do not take action, then your circumstance will never change. Your circumstance will never change. So, to fast forward, I went to Texas Southern University. I have a couple of degrees, but I don't talk a lot about the degrees because I believe that it's the gift that God has placed in me that has me where I am today. It has nothing to do with the titles and the pieces of paper that I've accumulated. It has all to do with what God has placed in me. And this is what you're going to learn today is how you can apply what God has placed in you to do what you've been called to do. Because if you're here right now, if you woke up this morning, it's because you have purpose in your life. If you woke up this morning, it's because God has a purpose for your life. Some people didn't wake up, okay? Some people didn't wake up, but you did. Now, I want you to think back today of the things that you've done in this day. Did you walk in purpose today? Or did you just walk around today not knowing or not realizing how blessed you are? So I'm going to fast forward about my little journey here. Third Ward, Houston, Texas, fast forward. I started my entrepreneur journey very, very early. I've had 2 jobs in my entire life. I worked for Google for 9 months, and I worked for a segregation firm for a year and a half. For those of you who don't know what segregation means, it's insurance collections, okay? So I worked for an insurance collection company for a year and a half. And after that, I decided that I was going to pursue entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship is not easy, and it wasn't easy for me then, and it's not easy now. But with God, all things are possible, Okay? With God, all things are possible. So, starting my entrepreneur journey, my first 3 companies failed. Okay? People was like, Velma, you need to just get a job. You need to, do something different. But it was something in me that I felt that God was using me for something. I felt the things that I went through were going to be the exact things that God was going to use to help other people out of poverty. So I knew that I could not give up. So to fast forward, my 4th company was successful. I was able to sell it. My 5th company was successful. I was able to sell it. I want to tell you a little bit more about this 5th company, okay? It was a luxury hair extension boutique in Houston, Texas. And this is all Googleable, okay? Because I can't make none of this stuff up. Y'all know a lot of people be saying they done all this stuff. They ain't did a whole lot of stuff. But we gonna just stick to the facts today. So I had a salon boutique called Jazzy Girls, Texas Jazzy Girls. It took me 2 years to build this salon. It took me 2 years. I had my own luxury hair extension line. I had an eco-friendly product line. I had 8 stylists in the salon. It was a beautiful salon. In fact, I was the only African-American owned salon in this area in Houston, Texas called River Oaks. I was approached by Animal Planet. How many of you know who Animal Planet? Call of the Wild Man. This show was with Turtle Man and Ernie, and I can talk about it now because, the non-compete and all of the confidentiality, it's expired. How many? Just repeat after me, say it's expired. I can talk about it now. So they came to the salon and they said, Velma, we would love to shoot a segment here, and you're going to get millions and millions of views. And I'm thinking, okay, I would love to get millions and millions of views. And so my attorney said, Velma, don't do it. And Velma said, oh, he hating. You know how we get to thinking like, he hating on me. They just came to my salon and want to put me on Animal Planet TV? And you hating, telling me not to do it? What does Velma do? Velma does it anyway. And so to fast forward, they ended up planting bats in my salon. I want you to just Google Velma Trayham Jazzy Girls Bat Day in Houston, Texas. All right. So they planted bats in the salon. And the first thing is this. I did get millions and millions of views. In fact, every time children would see myself and our staff in the mall, they would say, Mommy, those are the girls that was on Animal Planet. They got bats in the salon. Okay, so number one, that was an embarrassment, okay? That was a total embarrassment. What then happened, they accidentally left 3 bats, and then the bats were found dead in front of the salon. And then here comes Mother Jones. Mother Jones is like the FBI for animals, for those of you who don't know. Then here comes Mother Jones requesting to speak with the owner of Texas Jazzy Girls. My attorney said, well, Velma, you can't talk to him because you've already signed the confidentiality agreements. You can't talk to him. I'm like, wait a minute, bats? I'm involved in a bat reality show hoax? Oh, no. I'm not going down for no bats, okay? If I'm going to go down for something, I'm not going down for no bats, okay? So what did they do? For 4 weeks straight, every news station you can think of had tripods up in front of the salon, and it actually was trending local news. Famous Texas Jazzy Girls infested by bats. Famous Texas Jazzy Girl salon involved in reality show hoax. So what went from a $50,000 a month operation quickly went to zero. People were pulling up, they were taking pictures, they were sharing it. What's going on in Sexy Jazzy Girls? What is happening? This, that, and the other. I then had to figure out, what am I going to do? I've invested millions of dollars in this salon. I'm the first Black-owned salon in the River Oaks area in Houston, Texas. What am I going to do? So I had a vendor in Canada that was buying a lot of my product. And then I ended up selling my business model to the Canada company. I was able to sell this company for $250,000. That was my resurrection to the real entrepreneur journey. Everything that I'd learned through the first 3 failures, the 4th company being sold, so that was an acquisition there. And then the 5th company, I was publicly successful, but I was a private failure. But I want you to look at how God turned it around for my good. I want you to look at that. So I want you to take note of a few things really quickly before I go into the next segment here. The first thing is, you want to make sure that you have people in your life that has wisdom and that has the expertise to help you get to the next level. Do not ignore wise counsel. The Bible talks about wise counsel, but do not ignore wise counsel. What I did, I ignored my attorney. The second thing is, I was able to sell my business model. Okay? I didn't have to sell the business name. I sold the business model. So the second thing here I want to mention is, make sure that as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you have a business model. Who's your target audience? What product or service are you selling? How does it, how are you solving a problem? What is your profit? What is your business model? The intellectual property. What is your business model? So I was able to sell that business model. How many of you are sitting there watching right now? How many of you have a business model in you that have been dormant? How many of you are afraid to walk in that thing, that model that God has placed in you? How many of you are afraid? The opposite of fear is faith, and the opposite of faith is fear. You cannot do both of them. You're either going to have faith or you're going to be fearful. You're going to continue every day to do things that you're not happy with, that's not fulfilling to you and the purpose that God has placed you here for. So to fast forward, after I sold my business model, I then started this company called ThinkZilla Consulting Group. In November, we celebrated 8 years. ThinkZilla is a marketing and consulting company, and I started off working with small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and executives that wanted to brand and have marketing and PR done for their small businesses. And so then 3 years into having ThinkZilla, and that was a really, really good model because people saw how I was able to build things, okay? How many of you know that it's important to be a thought leader and an expert, okay? It's important to be an expert in your industry. When people are looking for something, what will they know you for? Okay? So it's important. What do you become an expert, a thought leader. People pay for not what you do, but what you know. Okay, what do you know? People pay you for what you know. People will pay you for what you know. So as I began to journey through ThinkZilla, I've worked with some of the biggest pastors. When I started ThinkZilla, we worked with Bishop Jakes on his Destiny Empowerment book tour. A lot of amazing pastors, amazing people. And then I decided that I was going to pivot a little bit. And then I became a certified minority-owned company and started doing business in the public and private space. And so to fast forward 8.5 years later, I am now consulting with local government on diversity and inclusion and how to build communities. So my purpose never changed, but the direction changed a little. What am I saying here? Whatever your purpose is, stay committed to your purpose. You may have to change the direction to get there. When you put an address into your GPS, sometimes it gives you an alternate route. Sometimes it gives you an alternate route. But that does not mean that you're not headed toward your destiny. Okay? It does not mean that you're not headed toward your destiny. So as I continue to journey, I moved to Atlanta in 2016. And when I moved to Atlanta in 2016, I really didn't know what was going on. I had went through a divorce. And I didn't know what God was calling me to do. But one thing about it, I just know that when God tells me to go, I'm gone. When God says go, regardless of what that is. So if it's time for you to leave a job, it's time to go. If it's time for you to leave a broken relationship, it is time to go. If it is time for you to get on your health, start taking care of yourself, it is time to go. If it is time for you to stop playing the victim. A lot of us play the victim. Oh, this happened to me when I was a child. Or this happened to me. It doesn't matter what happened to you. Today, we celebrate a gift, and it's this thing called the present, and then you're walking into a future. And the Bible tells us, for I know the plans that I have for you. Those plans are to prosper you and not to harm you. The Bible is not a book that it shall lie. The problem is people have taken the Bible and they're not paying attention to it. They've taken out of school. They're trying to take it out. I mean, how can you take something out? Okay, the Bible is a blueprint. It's a blueprint. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about our manufacturer. Okay, God, the manufacturer of this body. Okay, when you think about a car, let's talk about maybe a Ferrari. If something goes wrong, if something breaks on that Ferrari, what are you going to do? You're going to take it to the manufacturer. You're gonna take it. There's a book. And there's a manufacturer, there's an operator's manual through the manufacturer. You're not going to take that Ferrari to a shade tree mechanic. You're not going to do that. And so we are a body, and our manufacturer is God. God said that, for I created you in the image of Christ. So why are we going to psychics, religious manipulators, all these people that are not the manufacturers. So what happens is, and this is why I believe that our communities are failing, because we're listening to the wrong people. We're listening and we're reading the wrong things. We're looking at the wrong things. See, this is one thing I know for sure. Whatever it is that you allow in, it's got to come out some type of way. Whatever it is, what are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Who are the 5 people around you? The 5 closest people to you. Just take a look and see if those 5 people are people that you want to be like. I'm not saying they are or they're not. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Look at the 5 people closest to you and ask yourself, do I want to be like these people? And I'm not saying you're passing judgment on them. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if God has called you to do something, your journey, your destiny, your walk, God is not going to give them the same vision that he gave you. So look at the 5 people closest to you and make that decision. Today, let me tell you this. Tomorrow is not promised to you. So it is time for you today to start walking in the direction that God has called you to walk in. Whatever is making you angry, it is time for you to solve the problem. And this is what entrepreneurship is about, solving problems. So over the duration of a decade in being an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, business owner, I've helped more than 200 businesses, 200 entrepreneurs, and that's just on the ThinkZilla side. And so getting back to the journey. So in 2017, I started a nonprofit called Millionaire Mastermind Academy. At that time, I didn't even know, I didn't even know that it was going to be a nonprofit organization. At the time, I just heard God tell me, Velma, you're going to have to start pouring into women. You're going to have to start telling your story. And at the time, I was embarrassed. I'm like, man, I don't want people to know my mom was a drug addict. I don't want people to know that, I was born and raised in poverty. I don't want people to know that. And God began to speak to me and say, Velma, the things that you've went through, it's for you to now set somebody else free. See, because your purpose does not start with you. Your purpose does not start with you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about purpose, because if you are not walking in your purpose, if you do not know what your purpose is, it is so very important that you stop everything that you're doing and begin to seek God for what your purpose in life is. So I started Millionaire Mastermind Academy, and to date, we have mentored more than 5,000 women. 5,000 women through our economic empowerment programs. And in fact, look at all of these women entrepreneurs in here. Oh my God, let me tell you, this is how you know that you're walking in your purpose. When you would do things with your purpose, your gift, when you do that, and when you're able to do it for free, and you know what? That's when you know you're walking in your calling. That is when you know that you're walking in your purpose. And when I started Millionaire Mastermind Academy, I had no clue how I was going to do some of the things that I've been able to do. But when I tell you this, if God give you the vision, he's going to give you the provision. Vision attracts resources. And the Bible tells us that where there is no vision, the people perish. So vision attracts resources. So when I had the vision to help millions of women around the world out of poverty, I just had the vision. And so then God began to give me resources. So I wrote my vision down on a piece of paper, because the Bible says what? To write the vision. I got to drink some water on that one, y'all. Hold up. Vision attracts resources. I wrote the vision, y'all. So number one, write the vision. The Bible says write the vision and make it plain. Though it may take some time. So guess what? It's not going to happen overnight. Though it may take some time, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. 5,000 women. We have an entrepreneur accelerator program. I wrote a curriculum. I said, everything that I know, I'm now going to put this in a curriculum so that we can expand this vision, because God already had gave me the vision. I didn't know how I was going to do what the first year. Nobody gave me a dime for Millionaire. I'm sorry, the first 2 years. No one gave me a dime for Millionaire Mastermind Academy. I funded it out of my pocket every month. Why? Because I believed in the vision. And nothing was going to stop me. I was going to people asking for help. Look, I have all of these women. They need support. I need resources for these women. They would just try to use my database. Well, can you send this through your database? Because I have over almost 500,000 people in my database. So they want to send stuff out through my database, but y'all don't want to help the people. So I continue to pray to God. And every time I would just keep writing it down, just like I was writing, just write things down. And then last year, I was able to launch the pilot program of the 13-week accelerator program. And we were able to give away $30,000 in December to 6 women. 6 women, $30,000. Now, won't he do it? Won't he do it? Now, I didn't know how any of this was going to come about. I just knew that I was going to keep on funding it out because God gave me the vision. I don't know nothing. See, this is what happens. God will never tell you the end from the beginning. But if you would just start today, he's going to align the right people. He's going to align the right resources. So to fast forward, I had a donor that came out of nowhere. Mr. Joe Lubick, he's the CEO of American Landmark Apartment, Jewish. He said, I've been watching you for a long time. So here's the next thing, y'all. You never know who's watching you, so be careful what you put on social media. Be careful who you associate yourself with. You never know who's watching you. He said, I've been watching your work. And I want to invest. The first investment was $50,000. $30,000 of it went to the women after they completed the program. I got staff. We got a program coordinator. We got social media strategy. We got outreach. We got community outreach. We got advisors now. We got partners now. Look at New Birth. New Birth came on. I said, Pastor Jamal, I want to help more women. Look at what we've been doing. He said, Velma, I've been seeing what you've been doing. I'm on board. You don't have to, I'm on board. He came on board. He donated. He said, now he did give me one stipulation though. He said, my donation need to be the women from New Birth. I don't care what you doing out there in Phoenix and Houston. But my donation need to cover New Birth. I said, okay, Pastor, I got you. So guess what? New Birth is in the building. New Birth is in the building. And guess what? These ladies are already making strides, and we're only 4 weeks into the program. So vision attracts resources. So then I began to get other corporations saying, Velma, we want to be a part of this. We're getting ready to expand now to West Palm Beach, Florida. A couple of months ago, my fiance took me to pick up my mail, and it was $160,000 worth of donations, checks. But guess what? That's what happens when you have a vision. I didn't know any of this in the beginning. I just knew that I needed to help as many women as I could. I just knew that those first 3 companies that failed, I didn't have a Velma. I didn't have a Velma. So I'm like, wait a minute now, how can I be the thing to the women that I didn't have when I started and when I failed my first 3 businesses? So guess what I did? I became the solution to a problem. And so entrepreneurship is not about how much money you can make. It's about solving a problem. Because when you're solving a problem, you'll never need money. When you are solving a problem, you'll never need money. So if you are exploring the option of entrepreneurship, and I'm gonna tell you this. There are only 2 ways out of poverty. Entrepreneurship and ownership. Those are the only 2 ways out of poverty. So when you think about the sacrifice, okay, because it takes a sacrifice. When you think about the sacrifice that Dr. Martin Luther King, guess what? We're living in the land of the free. There is no secret as to how foreigners are coming over here to our country getting wealthy. While many of us are living in poverty. And again, poverty is a state of mind. Poverty has nothing to do with how much money you have. Poverty is a lack of creativity and a lack of execution. So now is the time to become a living sacrifice. You don't need to wait till you die to try to become it really bothers me that when we find ourselves, maybe not accomplishing the things that we want, it's just so easy for us to give up. There's no fight in us. It's so easy to give up. But if a pair of Jordans came out today or tomorrow, the lines are wrapped around the building. Poverty is a state of mind. It's a state of mind. For our people perish for a lack of knowledge, and where there is no vision, the people perish. The Bible tells us this. I want to, when you talk about entrepreneurship, ownership, and creating generational wealth, financial literacy, you got to have money to do things. You got to have money to start a business. Too many people saying, oh, I don't have no money. But if you think about what you're spending every day, are you buying cigarettes? Are you buying Coca-Colas? Are you going to Chick-fil-A every day? Are you going to Starbucks every day? I'm not the judge of that. But I'm going to tell you this. Whatever it is that you sow, shall you reap. Are you eating your seeds? Are you eating your seeds? So for those of you that are sitting there wondering, what does God have for me? It's in you. Stop eating your seed. Today, God is going to resurrect some things in you. Why? Because the scales are falling off of your eyes right now as we're speaking. So just as though the Apostle Paul had to have a Damascus Road experience where scales fell off of his eyes, and he said he began to see clearly. It is time for you to have a Damascus Road experience. There is no reason for you to have to leave this earth and your children's children are left with nothing. How selfish are you? How selfish are you? What will you leave your children's children? The only two ways out of poverty is ownership and entrepreneurship. I talked about having a business model in the beginning. I talked about writing the vision down. I talked about surrounding yourself with wise counsel. I talked about the 5 closest people to you. What else do you need? Your purpose. Your purpose is what God has placed you on this earth to do. That's what your purpose is. And if you're thinking it starts with you, it doesn't. You got to figure out what your purpose is. And you need to understand your why. What is your why? And if you don't understand what your purpose and your why is, let me tell you, it's going to be very, very easy for you to be distracted. It's going to be very, very easy for people to pull you here and there. It's going to be very easy for you to be unstable-minded. Because you're not tapped into your purpose. Many people are scrolling Instagram and Facebook, social media, and they see this person look like they're being successful. I said look. They look like they're being successful, so then they try to copy them, and then it's not there. Then they copy them, and it's not successful. And then they say, oh, well, let me see what else. Scroll. And then they see another person that looks successful. Oh, well, then let me try to copy them. And then they try to copy them. And then they do this. And they're going around in circles, repeating. The definition of insanity is repeating the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. So they're going around in circles, and they've done all of these things because they've copied off of all of these people. And what has that caused? It has caused now an identity crisis. Now you don't know who you are. See, the purpose that God has placed in you, you need to tap into that And the way you tap into that is going back to the manufacturer. It's going back to the owner's manual. It's staying focused. Let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. It's okay to tell people no. Unapologetically. No. Too many of us are afraid to tell people no. Guess what? The reason you have to tell people no sometimes is because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're pouring the little bit that you have, then who's left to fill your cup up? Who's left to help you tap into that thing that's been dormant in you? Who's left to pour into you? Who's left? You have to take 100% accountability for your life. You have to take 100% accountability for your outcomes. You have to take 100% accountability for your success. You have to take 100% accountability. Don't sit back waiting on the government. You need to create a business so that the government can become one of your clients. I just told y'all, I consult with the governments. Create something that's solving a problem. So guess what? When you think about your business, your entrepreneur journey, that thing, I want you to ask yourself, what problem am I solving? Don't think about the money. Think about the problem that you're solving. I said, whatever is making you angry, whatever that is, can you do me a favor and figure out a way to solve the problem? Okay? Stay off the phone with energy bandits. Stay off the phone with energy bandits. People that just drain you. When you get off the phone with them, it feels like you've ran 5 miles. They are draining you of your energy. They're energy bandits. God has a plan for your life. The Bible tells us that I know the plans that I have for you. Those plans are to prosper you and not to harm you. I want to give you a few tips here. Number 1, figure out your purpose in life, your why. What is that why? And hopefully by now you got 2-3 pieces of paper full of notes. Number 2, do not go into business unless you have a clear vision. Have a vision. So important. Number 3, you got to become a leader. There are too many followers. I am a leader, but I want to turn followers into agents of change. Leader, become a thought leader. Become a leader. And a leader has to make tough decisions. A leader has to be willing to do the things today that others are not willing to do to get the results tomorrow that you want. If you're believing to have a multi-million-dollar business, you need to become a leader. You need to write it down and make it clear. And you need to become absolutely focused. Everything that's distracting you, you got to cut it off. And I'm not saying don't love them, because you can love a person from afar. I love so many people from afar, but you don't have access to me. How many of you know that you got to protect yourself? You can't let people get access to you. And a leader knows how to protect the oil. A leader knows how to protect that. Because guess what? The enemy's job is to steal, kill, and destroy. And I'm not talking about, stealing out your purse. Even though they do that too. But what I'm talking about is stealing your dreams, stealing your identity, robbing you of your ideas, of your purpose, having you thinking that it will never happen, having you thinking that you don't deserve it, having you thinking that you don't have what it takes. No, yes, you do. You have what it takes. Yes, you do. And you got to take action today. The next tip is this. You got to build a solid character. You got to build a solid character. You got to have integrity. You got to tell the truth. You got to have a good reputation so people can believe you and trust you. An investor ain't going to give you nothing if you're not trustworthy. So you got to build a solid character. If you're running with people that are the opposite of where you're going, you got to let them go. Because when people are watching you and see that you're connected to certain people, they're not going to want to do business with you. Because how can two walk together unless they're one? Build a solid character. Do what you say you're going to do. Do whatever it is that you say you're going to do, do it. I have built a solid reputation and a solid character. People know that Velma is dependable. People know that Velma ain't flip-floppish. People know this. I wouldn't be a new birth if I wasn't. Pastor Jamal don't deal with everybody. Build a solid character. And it may take some time, but it's okay. Because again, whatever it is that you sow shall you reap. So if you're having hard times right now, and you may have done some things in your past, then guess what? If you begin to sow good seeds right now, then your next season can begin to be blessed. So if you didn't sow good seeds last season, don't expect to receive good things in this season. You have to plant in this season so that the next season you can begin to reap your reward. So if you're wondering why this is happening to me, well, check your seeds. Have you been eating your seeds? What have you been doing? Build a solid character. The next tip is you want to invest in yourself. I get a lot of people asking me these questions all the time. I work, Velma, how can I start to transition into entrepreneurship? Guess what? If you have to save 30% of your paycheck for the next 6 months so that you can start your business, isn't it worth it so that when you're no longer here, your children's children will have something? I'm a no excuse type of person. And maybe it's because of what I've went through in my life. But excuses are monuments to nothing. They build bridges to nowhere. And those who use those tools are fools. We're not using excuses. You got to start to get up and you got to start to take action. Invest in yourself. And don't say, I don't have the money. You do. You do. You can find it. You can get creative. You can find it because everything we want, we figure out a way to get it. So figure it out. If you're watching this streaming live and if you're watching, guess what? Did you know that Pastor Jamal was a partner to the Millionaire Mastermind Academy helping women out of poverty? Connect to a church. Connect to this is good. This is a good tree right here. This is a good tree. The next thing, your business needs to be a solution to a crisis. Where there is a problem, there is a solution. That's what I see and that's why I get paid the money that I get paid, because I get paid to solve problems. I'm a problem solver. I don't get paid for what I do. I get paid for what I know. And this is one of the things about becoming an entrepreneur. You can start off as a consultant. If you're a janitor right now, guess what? Become the best janitor. Start a consulting company helping other people to become janitors. If you are a window washer, start a consulting company helping other people to wash windows. Build a business model. If you are a singer and you've been great at it, build a business model helping other singers to monetize their gifts. Whatever it is, be the best at it. Become a consultant. Become a thought leader. That is your journey. This is important. The final thing is this. Be in control of your own mind. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. And a lot of people say that, very cliche-ish. They just say it. But your mind is a terrible thing to waste. Your mind. And this leads me to the last thing. Do not allow the enemy to rob you of what God has for you. Do not allow the enemy to rob you of what God has for you. Jesus experienced a resurrection. Today is your resurrection. Today is your resurrection. Rise up. And begin to decree and declare a thing over your life. I am no longer living in poverty. I am no longer going to a job that does not bring me fulfillment. I am no longer going to rob Peter to pay Paul. I am no longer just going to sit up and eat all day and be obese. I am no longer going to live my life like this. Because God created me in the image of Christ. You have what it takes. Start today. Do not allow the enemy to rob you. Stay connected to New Birth. Millionaire Mastermind Academy is here for the women that wants to continue to build. Build. For the women that are not taking no for an answer. For the women that have committed themselves to be a living sacrifice. Remember, poverty is a state of mind. Thank you for your time.
Amen. Were you not blessed tonight? Come on, you can do better than that. Listen, we are so blessed tonight to have had Dr. Velma with us. Did she not tear it up tonight? Listen, we are so blessed and thrilled to have her. Wherever you are, I want you to just put some hearts in the screen tonight. Listen, let us know that you were blessed. I want you to type, I have what it takes. Do you hear me? I have what it takes. You have every single thing that you need. Can I tell you, when she talked about being first, it began to resonate with my spirit, because some of you know, listen, that God has anointed you to be first. You are the trailblazer. You are the forerunner in your family, in your bloodline, in your generation, and entrepreneurship will come from you. Listen, if you know that God has anointed you to be first, you also know that there are some things that come along with that. That means that the enemy attacks you greater because you are first. He tries to take your dreams because you are first. But can I tell you that the Father is getting ready to blow a fresh wind on those who he has anointed to be first in entrepreneurship. And listen, we have been blessed tonight. We have been inspired tonight. And I am so grateful because Dr. Velma is a gift to the kingdom. Wherever you are, I just want you to type some hearts. I want you to let her know how much you love her and how grateful we are to have had her with us tonight. Listen, I want to honor our pastor for being such a visionary to know that, listen, it is when you pour into women that you change nations, that you change generations. Oh, come on tonight. And so he had been so passionate about ensuring that women had opportunities for entrepreneurship that he connected us with Dr. Velma. And we have 11 women from New Birth who are a part of the Accelerator program. Oh, give it up. And we are so proud of them. We cannot wait to see what is birthed through them. Listen, you might say, Pastor Carrie, I want to sow tonight because this is fertile ground and I know that God is trying to take my business to the next level. You can do that by going to Givelify. You can go to PushPay. You can text New Birth Give to 77977, and you can go directly to newbirth.org. Can I tell you, when you want to do something great, when you want the Father to breathe on your business, you sow a seed to connect to it. Can I tell you, earlier this year when I launched my business, I said out loud that I'm retiring my mother this year. This will be the last year that she works on a job because my business will be able to, oh, y'all quiet, will be able to retire her. Listen, when you are believing the Father to do something exceptional in your business, you got to speak out loud things that you never thought you'd be able to say. Wherever you are, I want you to declare openly what you are believing the Father to do through your business. It might even sound fearful when you say it out loud, but you know it's going to happen. The second thing that I told the Father is that this year I wanted to be one of the top tithers at my church. I wanted to give the largest seed this year than I've ever given. Can I tell you, I'm going to do that before December 31st. I will give the largest seed that I've ever given because I serve a large God. And his word tells me that he will do exceedingly abundantly above all that I could ask or think. Listen, we are so honored that you joined us tonight. We have been blessed. If you can't tell, I'm stirred up. I'm on fire tonight, and I'm excited about what the Lord is going to do, not only in entrepreneurs here, but all over the world. We know the wealth of the wicked is stored up. Come on, y'all, for the righteous, and I want my peace. I ain't got to have all of it, but I want what the Lord has promised me. And so, listen, we are so thrilled to have Dr. Velma with us from Millionaire Mastermind Academy. I pray that you were blessed. On behalf of our senior pastor, Dr. Jamal H. Bryant, your entire New Birth family, we love you. We're praying for you. We are rooting for you. If you want to join, you can go to the website right now. We welcome you into a diverse community of faith. Those of us who know that we can put our hand to the plow. We know that God has called us to entrepreneurship, education, entertainment, wherever it is that the Father has called you. New Birth is going to help cultivate that gift in you. We love you, and we will see you right here on Sunday.